This is the morning edition of the Weather Xtreme video for Monday, the 2nd of April. James Spann here, getting back on our regular production schedule this week. And again today, warm is the word. We'll check some of the Skycam shots around the network at the totally insane hour of 5 o'clock. There's a look at downtown Jasper. Things are calm there. Look at downtown Clanton in Chilton County. That's the Clanton City Hall. And up in Decatur, the lights are twinkling off the water of the Tennessee River up in Morgan County. All right, got a big trough in the west. That thing's going to be cutting off into an upper low around the Four Corners. And, of course, ridging is the story. The axis running all the way from the Gulf Coast up into the upper Midwest, up into Canada. So going to be awfully warm around here, and you can see the effects of that this morning. Cold air spilling out into the Rockies, warm air spreading northward across the plains. Even at 09Z, that's 4 a.m., you've got readings around 70 up into Wichita, Kansas. All right, the watch warning map. Winter storm watch for parts of the southern Rockies. Got a high wind warning on the lee of the Rockies in Colorado and some dense fog around Tampa Bay and Fort Myers. And that's about it. But, historically, some weird things can happen this first week in April. Very historic weather events have occurred. We'll check the convective outlooks. This is today. Got the standard slight risk over much of Texas, Louisiana, and points north. Nothing here. Don't expect any rain here today. Tomorrow, the risk is defined pretty much along the Interstate 35 corridor from San Antonio to Oklahoma City. But notice you've got that 5% risk way over into the eastern U.S. And any storms that pop up tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening could pack a punch. With the possibility of hail and gusty winds, don't expect any tornado threat tomorrow as the upper low moves slowly east. And then on day 3, which is Wednesday, no formal risk is defined, just those 5% risks for parts of the Mid-South and off to the east. And that might be the day with a better coverage of showers and storms, but the upper low should be weakening. And again, the tornado threat would be seemingly very small. The main issue would be from hail and gusty winds, where the storms crank up there Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. And we all know they can pack a punch. After this past Saturday, it didn't rain in a lot of places, but it did rain on Saturday. We had huge hail that came down from those big storms. And there's the rain for the next 5 days, valid through Friday evening at 7 o'clock. Rain amounts of about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch expected here, with the heavier totals to the west and north. All right, let's dig in there. Model fans, this is the GFS, the OZ run, valid at 1 o'clock this afternoon. There's the upper low cutting off to the west, ridging here. So again, sunny and warm today with highs in the mid-80s, right at record levels. I think the record high today is 85. We might beat that. Tomorrow, the upper low just drifts east. And the ridge breaks down. Note that little piece of energy coming there through the Tennessee Valley. And that certainly could kick off some storms. So we'll mention that chance tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, and where they do form, they could be strong. But again, tornado threat is not very likely. But the really organized stuff is still to the west. Wednesday, the upper feature is over Kansas and Nebraska. And understand, the idea we had a week ago of the deep trough phasing up, cold air flooding in for the latter half of the week, it's off the table. Will it cool down? Yes, but no frost or freeze threat here. Down below that Wednesday, we've got the dry slot over Texas and Oklahoma. Storms coming in from the west. And again, I think that might be the day with the best coverage of showers and storms, maybe Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night. But Thursday, understand, the upper low is still northwest of us, up around Jefferson City, Missouri. And down below that, this shows kind of a cluster of storms in the Gulf Coast, maybe cutting us off, but I think you certainly have to mention at least a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. And the same deal. A big organized tornado threat, no, that's not going to happen, but you could see a storm or two with hail and gusty winds. And then Friday, the dry slot begins to work in. So at that point, showers become pretty isolated. Friday could be a dry day. And we start to cool down a bit. Notice the thickness values are coming down. Highs should drop into the 70s on Friday, back to where they should be for this time of the year. And we do see the cold air back in the northwest, but on Saturday, that trough is way northwest of here. We've got ridging kind of rebuilding. And below that, it looks like a gorgeous day. I mean, that should be really nice. Those thickness values, which suggest a low maybe in the upper 40s, and a high in the mid-70s. And again, that's just about right for this time of the year. So Saturday looks gorgeous. And here's Easter Sunday. Looks fine, just beautiful. Sunny with maybe upper 70s after a low in the 50s. Just perfect. And again, no threat for the next 7 days of a frost or a freeze. That idea is off the table. Growers can relax. And we note that cold front, and there's Monday. The cold front is kind of stuck north of here. Pretty good cold air behind that, but no, it's not going to make it here. That would suggest Monday we'd be up there close to 80. And let's just go to the end of the forecast on the 17th of April. Big upper low to the northwest, ridging over Florida. That looks kind of stormy, doesn't it? Of course, this is voodoo, pure speculation out here, but this is what you expect in April. A deep surface low over the plains with the Gulf wide open through the Mississippi Valley and some risk of storms. But again, the good news, we almost always have a late season cold snap, almost always, but boy, we don't see one here for the next 15 days based on modeling. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. Next video here by 3:30 or so today. And don't forget to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
The first thing you've got to understand, you cannot rely on an outdoor siren. You cannot hear those inside a home, a building, a church. It won't work. You've got to get something inside your house. That's a weather radio or maybe a smartphone app. We work with a company that's developed a wonderful weather radio app for Android phones and iPhones. It knows where you are, and if you're in a tornado warning polygon, you get the warning. And if you're not, you don't. It's an effective device, and it's a great way to be sure you get the warning.